Welcome back to you all on the third part of the story, the last lesson. In the previous videos, we came to know that the French is a young boy who was not willing to go to school because he has not done his homework given to him by his teacher. But anyway, he went to school and there he saw that everything was changed. The teacher's dress, the villager sitting in the class, he was not being punished for the coming late to the class and so many other things. So at the end, he came to know that the order had come from the Berlin that only German language would be taught in the districts of Lorraine and Alsace. So it was a big blow on him, and he took these words of his teacher as if a thunderclap. So what a thunderclap these words were to me. Oh, the wretches, that was what they had put up at the town hall, he thought. He came to know that this was the news that he had been known to of when he was passing by the town hall. So we go ahead in the third part of the story. What was the reaction of French on getting the news that he will not learn the French language anymore? My last French lesson. Why? I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn anymore. Must stop there. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons. Forsaking birds' eggs or going sliding on the Saar. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And M. Hamel too. The idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. Poor man. It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put up his fine Sunday clothes and now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry, too, that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. While I was thinking all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for the participle all through, very loud and clear and without one mistake. But I got mixed up on the first words and stood there, holding on to my desk, my heart beating, and not daring to look up. I heard M. Hamel say to me, I want to scold you, little French. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, bah, I have plenty of time. I'll learn it tomorrow. And now, you see where we have come out. Ah, that's the great trouble with Alsace. She puts she puts off learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it you pretend to be a Frenchman and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language? But you are not the worst poor little French. We have all a great deal to reproach ourselves with. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They preferred to put you go to work on a farm or at the mills so as to have a little more money. And I have been to blame also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? So now we go from the beginning of this part of the story so that we could understand it line by line. So when the French heard that this day or this class is his last or final French class or French lesson. He couldn't believe it. It was an unbelievable thing to him. He says, "My last French lesson. Why I hardly knew how to write. I hardly knew means I did not know. Hardly means very close to not. So I did not know how to write. I should never learn anymore." He's exclaiming, he's feeling sad, disappointment that he must stop there and then. Means, is this the last day for learning French? Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons. He's feeling the regret. He's feeling the sorry that he has not utilized his time. He has not understood the value of time and he has not learned his lesson in time. And instead of learning his chapters or the lessons, he went for seeking birds' eggs. Means he did the things that entertained him, like seeking birds' eggs or going sliding on the Saar. Saar is the name of the river flowing in the locality of French. It is a river in the France. So he thought that he was so sorry. Instead of learning the lesson, he has gone, he had spent his time to seek birds' eggs or going sliding on the Saars, means going playing in the river Saar. He was sorry that his books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. All of a sudden he felt a change towards the things that was uninteresting to him. His books that always seemed a nuisance, that always seemed a nuisance. Nuisance means something annoying or causing troubles. Nuisance, something annoying or causing troubles. So the books were nuisance a while ago. Now he has changed his mind because of the situation, because of the knowledge that this was the last class for him. The books so heavy to carry, not only nuisance, but he also used to take those books at burden, the grammar, the book of grammar, the book of history of saints. All of a sudden, he started feeling as if these books are not the enemy, not the burden, not the annoying things, but his old friends. And he was not ready to give up the company of those old friends. He was not ready to leave those old friends. Here, old friends is referred to the books which were uninteresting to him so far. And M. Hamel, what he talks about his teacher M. Hamel, he too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about this ruler and how cranky he was. M. Hamel, as a teacher, was also not very much interesting to French. He calls him cranky. Here, the word cranky in the last line you can see Cranky, cranky. So, the meaning of the cranky is one who gets angry when opposed, means very easily get angry when opposed by someone. So, he thought that his teacher was a cranky type person and always keeps the ruler to punish them. So he did not like him at all. But all of a sudden, when he came to know that this is his last teaching and he is there for the last time, so and he will never see him again. So he started liking he started to like M. Hamel as well. And I forget all the bad things about him. So he liked his book now, and he also liked his teacher after listening, after learning that this is going to be the last lesson of French for him. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes. So he thought, the poor man, this is the miseries of the situation in which the all the inhabitants of two districts were caught. So he called the poor man for his teacher out of compassion, out of mercy, or you can say feeling pity on everyone because they were helpless. So called poor man means M. Hamel. It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put up on his fine Sunday clothes. He had worn those Sunday clothes, especially to celebrate the occasion as it was going to be the last lesson from M. Hamel. That's why the men of the villages were sitting there in the back of the benches, means back of the room. He understood this. It was because they were sorry too, as M. Hamel was sorry, as French was sorry, so the villagers were also sorry, feeling sorry that it was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to school more, because even the villagers, the old men of the village had not completed their studies, they were more involved in the other thing. It was their way of thinking. Our masters our master, it was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. So, by their presence in the class, the villagers were showing their gratefulness, their thankfulness. They were thankful, they were grateful to the teacher who has given a 40 years faithful service to the villagers. He has taught the generations of the village. So the villagers had gathered in the classroom to pay thankful thanks to the teacher. But their respect for the country, they are also showing their respect to the country, their solidarity with the France, and they were there to show this respect. Though the country was no more there, it was occupied by the Persian army, but still they gathered there to show that they still love the France. While I was thinking all this, I had my name called. I heard my name called. So the French says the narrator was busy in thinking all these things. Then he heard that M. Hamel called his name. It was my turn to recite one by one. Every person in the classroom was reciting the homework that was on participle, and now it was the turn of little French. What would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rules for the participle of through very loud and clear and without one mistake? I put all my effort. What would I not have given to be able to say? Means I have put all my efforts to be able to speak out that dreadful rule. Means the homework, the dreadful, he's calling dreadful because he couldn't recite that rules of participle. So it becomes a dreadful thing for him. So he put all the effort to recite that dreadful rules of participles. He wanted to announce, he wanted to speak that rules of participles very loud and clear and without one mistake. So this was the intention of French, but as we know that he had not done his homework, he was not able to learn that rules of participles. So he says, but I got mixed up on the first words and stood there. But I got mixed up means I got confused even on the first words and stood there, and I stuck there. I stopped there, holding onto my desk. So in embarrassment, I held my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. I was feeling guilty, so I couldn't dare to look up. I have no courage to look up because I would have learned that rules of participles, what I failed to. I couldn't, means the French says he couldn't look up on the face of Amhamel and in the face of classmates, on the face of classmate. He says, I heard Amhamel say to me, I want to scold you, little French. You must feel bad enough. I'm not going to scold you. I won't means I will not scold you, little French. Scold, rebuke. I'm not going to punish you. I'm not going to rebuke you, my little friend. You must feel bad enough because I can see you are feeling very bad for not learning the rules of participle. See how it is. Now you can estimate. Now you can see yourself. Every day we have said to ourselves, bah, I have plenty of time. I will learn it tomorrow. Every day we just skip the learning, skip our work by saying that tomorrow I will do it. And then tomorrow I will do it. And as you know, the tomorrow never comes. When we show our carelessness, then we use ba. We are careless. Ba. I have plenty of time, means I have a lot of time. Why should I do it right now? I will do it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come. Now you can see yourself. We have no time. We have no tomorrow left.
Ah, that's the great trouble with Alsace. This is the trouble. This is the problem of Alsace, the people of Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. Every day, the people of Alsace puts their learning till tomorrow, and tomorrow comes to end today. Now those fellows out there, he's saying to Persian people. Now those fellows, the Persian army, the people of enemy country, will have the right to say, they will be saying to you, how is it you pretend to be a Frenchman? You make a show of pretend means make a show of to be a Frenchman, and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language. You cannot speak English. You cannot speak French. You cannot write in your French language. How can you say that you are a Frenchman? This will be the question to you by the people of enemy country. But you are not the worst, poor little French. And further, he addresses to the French, saying that you are not the worst. Worst is the superlative degree of bad. Bad, worse, worst. You are not the worst. We all have a great deal to reproach ourselves with. We all have done a great thing to reproach. As I said, the meaning of this word in the beginning is usually disapprove. Disapprove or disgrace. Here it is pertinent for disgrace. So, disgrace ourselves. We have all a great deal to disgrace ourselves with because we do not learn our language. We did not learn our language, and now we are in a situation where there is no one to teach us our language. So, it will be a disgrace. We have brought ourselves to a state of disgrace. So, up to here, your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. In the upcoming paragraph, the teacher M. Hamel enumerated the people who are responsible for not learning, who takes the things casually. He starts with the parents, saying your parents were not anxious enough. Anxious means worried enough to have you learn. They were careless about your learning. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills so as to have a little more money. They preferred to earn a little more money by your help than to send you school to learn the language, to learn the subjects. So your parents are equally responsible for this. And I, as a teacher, I have been to blame also, not only you, your parents. I am also to be blamed for your not learning. This is the quality of the great teachers, that he also takes the responsibility students if a student does not learn. So he says, as a good teacher, I have been to blame also. The blame goes on me as well. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? Sometimes in between the class, when you have come to school to learn, I have sent you to water my plants. So there I was negligent. I was careless about your study. So I am also to be blamed. And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? So when I wanted to enjoy the fishing, when I wanted to go for fishing, I just gave holiday to all of you. This was my fault. This was what I did mistake. Instead of teaching you, instead of taking classes, I declared a holiday because I wanted to go for fishing. So in this part, we saw the majority of this portion of the story speak or tells about the value of time. And this is the core of this story as well. We do not understand the value of time. We feel as if we have plenty of time, we can do it afterwards, not today, then tomorrow, then next week. We always postpone our work on the next for the next time, and then the day comes when we see that there is no time left with us. So here M. Hamel teaches the same thing to his students in his class. So this is the end of the third part. After this, we will be on the last leg of the story. The In the next video, we will learn more or the final part of the story. Then we will go to the exercise. So, dear student, I hope you would enjoying this type of the learning, because in a language in learning language, you don't need anybody in front of you. You need the words and the sound and the explanation. So I have tried my best to bring these three things before you instead of making a video of a teacher in front of a blackboard and having a book and all that. You need the text, the sound, and the explanation, and all the three things is being supplied by my end. Hope you will be enjoying. And the homework. Uh, Before going to homework, I also request you, if you have any doubt, if you have any sort of question in your mind, you can write in the comment box. So you subscribe the video so that if I give the answer, you could see it. If I upload the new video, you will get the notification. So you can subscribe this channel as well if you like learning in this mode. So the homework for the day is again the same, because learning a vocabulary is a big part of learning language and the literature. So you will find out all the difficult word yourself, take the help of dictionary, make the sentence of those words, and other than this, you will write on your own without taking help from book. This time, you will narrate this story in your own words without taking help from the book or from this video. So whatever you have understood from this story so far, you will write it in a page. Means in 10 to 15 lines, you will write a story up to this point. So that's all for now. So thank you so much for watching and have a pleasant time ahead. Thank you so much.